here's a story from The World.
Usually, a rise in women's employment and a country's GDP go hand in hand. But India is bucking that trend. The number of women in the workforce has declined drastically over the past few years, even as India's economy has risen to become the world's fifth largest. From Mumbai, Raksha Kumar reports.
Renu Rai Yelgaonkar grew up in Mumbai's favorite weekend getaway, a hill station called Lonavala. She and her 5 siblings lived on just her father's income. This propelled her to take extra jobs. Even as a student at Pune University, she began teaching school kids math and science in the evenings for some extra income.
My maiden family was quite middle class, and then that was the reason that I used to work.
She started with just 2 students, but within a couple of years, she had 82 children queuing up to learn from her. But life had other plans.
I got that scholarship and I went to England because that was out of my family's budget.
While in England, she was completing her management studies, working on designing psychometric tests for new recruits in companies. And she met her husband, who is from a wealthy political family in central India. That changed everything.
Since this family was really well to do and there was no financial need also to, that I should go and earn for the family was not the first priority.
Yelgaonkar's experience is common to an entire generation that benefited from the opening up of India's economy in the early 1990s. Middle-class families were propelled to wealth. Vibhuti Patel is a former gender studies scholar at the Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Mumbai. She says as families became wealthier, women did not feel the need to work.
The male wages also increased and male salaries increased. They withdrew women from the workforce, that we will manage in one salary.
Prosperity, in that unique way, kept Indian women from working outside their homes. Another unusual reason for declining rates of women's participation in the workforce is more and more women getting educated.
So India produces the maximum number of women graduates in the world.
Sairi Chahal runs an online platform called Sheroes that helps women with employment and entrepreneurship. As opposed to other countries where education for women translates to their employment, Chahal says the situation is different in India. Women who are educated join the workforce but drop out when family responsibilities take over.
We all know people who have great careers in their 20 to 30 decade, but by the time they reach the 30, 35 decade, dropping off from their careers. And by the time it reaches 40, 50, it's a very thin pipeline.
Nandita Bedi graduated with an economics degree from Delhi University. She'd worked at an organization that would influence IT policy in the 1990s when the internet was just making inroads into India.
I was in Delhi when I got married. It was 1995. My husband was in Calcutta then. So after I got married, I moved across to Calcutta.
When she found out about her pregnancy, she decided to stay at home for her daughter.
At that point, I thought, because I didn't want to leave my child and, step out. And I wasn't happy with the idea.
Gender studies scholar Vibhuti Patel says something else has changed in India in recent years.
Gender stereotypes also have been consolidated in the current right-wing shift. The kind of media machinery that you have, how women are valorized as a homemaker. So that valorization of man as a breadwinner, that concept is now becoming more consolidated.
Although many women in India have in fact dropped out of the labor force, experts say that the numbers are misleading because of the number of women who actually work in informal economies. They get paid small amounts in cash and don't get included in the GDP. Amongst women who work in the informal sector, many were employed in agriculture and livestock industries. In the past, they contributed to family incomes significantly. However, jobs are shrinking in those sectors, says economist Nisha Srivastava.
Even in smaller districts and in poorer regions, agriculture is very highly mechanized, which has a lot of women unemployed. The opportunities for men is that they can migrate.
But migrating to another town is not always an option for women, since they are often the primary caregivers at home. Women's safety while commuting to work is also a major concern. Another reason for fewer women in the workforce is mechanization. As the Indian economy grows, machines are replacing more and more jobs. Vibhuti Patel, the gender studies scholar, says when the number of available jobs shrink, Men are prioritized for them.
Women are the first victim of the changes which are coming up in the production processes.
The United Nations says that the economic growth of a country is closely tied to women's participation in its economy. Sairi Chahal from the platform She Rose says jobs are not a policy priority in India. But when women work, the results are transformative.
At an individual level, it's just life changing because when you put money in hands of a woman, you're basically creating a positive situation for the whole family. Children get better education, better healthcare, better savings, better safety net.
To bring women back into the workforce, apart from focusing on safer commute and childcare options, all the experts I spoke to say that the nation should address the prevalent outlook, which considers women's employment less important than men's. For the world, I'm Raksha Kumar in Mumbai.